guys, what's up? Today, it's me and N here. So, today, you guys have probably heard of Zack Films. He's really popular. And so today, me and Zen are going to be reacting to these videos. Okay? So, let's do it. Alright. N, can you hear these?
They would tie a dog to
Yes, I can.
Okay, let's do this.
the stem of the mandrake, then throw out some food and run away. When the dog lunged for the food, it would yank out the plant. Now, they did this because the plant would scream, according to the legend, and anyone who heard it would die. But if the people were out of earshot, only the dog would be killed.
No!
They would tie a...
Okay, so the dog would die. Did you hear that, N?
Are you serious right now, bro?
Bro.
I heard like if you heard like this like thing, then you die,
Yeah. What the heck?
and only the dogs would hear it.
Man, whatever. Let's go to the next one.
They say he had a second face on the back of his
Voldemort,
head,
not gonna
one that
lie.
could smile, cry, and even whisper terrible things at night. Legend has it that the face couldn't eat or speak, but it was said to laugh when he cried and mutter words only he could hear. No doctor would remove it, and the man claimed it tormented him constantly. And according to the legend, he couldn't take it anymore and ended his own life, leaving behind a chilling note about his suffering. They say he had a If you shut a giant book on your head, you might think it would be heavy enough to crack open your skull. But the human head is made of dense bone, and it can actually withstand over 500 pounds of pressure.
What?
Now, a frog's bones are much weaker and
love
could
frogs.
definitely be smashed by a regular book. But it would take an 8-foot-tall book closing on your head to crush your skull completely.
I did not need to know that. Did you, N?
What did he say?
He said you could crush a frog with a book, but if you had an 18-ton book, you can crush your skull with it.
Why?
I don't know. Okay, guys, if you guys didn't know, I actually have a frog, like a pet frog, and he's really cute, and he's very fat. So he's a very fat little frog.
Riz.
But I love frogs, guys. They're so good. They're the best. They're my favorite animal. Dogs and frogs, that rhymes. Those are my favorite animals. So we don't like the Zack Films. Next.
If you ground up every cow on Earth and shaped it into a patty, you would have a burger over a mile wide. It would be twice the height of the Statue of Liberty and weigh 400 million tons. To grill it, you would need a pan bigger than Central Park and a volcano beneath to heat it. And since it would contain over a quadrillion calories, it would be enough to feed every human on Earth more than 200 times. If you ground up
Did we need to know this?
Probably not.
Yeah, what? Okay, well...
If you jumped from a 50-story building, you might think bubble wrap could save you. That's because bubble wrap compresses under impact. But you would need a mattress over 7 feet thick, enough to slow your fall gradually and spread the force over a large area. And if you wrapped yourself in bubble wrap, you'd need over 15,000 layers. This would create a suit nearly 500 feet thick to absorb the same force. If you jumped from a 8 men rest their heads on a metal bar, as a sharp moving blade is powered by a crank that the barber turns. Once the machine starts, the blade moves across the row, shaving each man's face in one continuous sweep. Now everyone has to stay perfectly still, because the blade doesn't stop or slow down. If one person sneezed as the blade passed, he could end up with cuts or worse. And this is why this device never really caught on. 8 men...
Oh my gosh! We didn't need to know that.
The blade comes down on the magician's hand, and the audience expects it to be cut off, but it slices through without harm, leaving them stunned. Now, the blade is real. It can be used to cut a stick of celery, but when the magician brings it down on his own hand, it slides into a hidden compartment inside the handle, and only comes out again when the audience is distracted. The blade comes down on
that's
the
how they do
magician's
it.
head. A torpedo was hidden in the corpse's armpit as they were buried. And when a grave robber opened the coffin, it would trigger a tripwire inside. This released a firing pin, and as the gunpowder ignited, the explosion blasted metal balls straight into the thief's face. This would kill them instantly, and it acted as a warning to others. Leave the dead in peace or become one of them.
That was interesting.
A butterfly's tongue is as thin as a strand of hair and hollow like a tiny straw, and it could be threaded through the eye of a needle. Now, if you took a hippo's tongue and dropped it onto a microwave, it would cover the entire surface.
Why
But
do
the
I care
blue
about
whale's
this?
tongue is so massive that if you plopped it onto a car, the 5-ton muscle would crush the metal completely, flattening it like a pancake. The shoe would hook onto a metal peg that popped up from the floor. Once locked in, the shoes held his feet in place, preventing him from falling over. And this allowed him to lean far beyond what the human body can normally balance. But as he leaned, he had to keep his entire body completely stiff, meaning without that control, his body would just collapse forward.
That is not Michael Jackson. That is Michael Afton. Bro, that does not look like Michael Jackson. If you're seeing my screen, which I don't think N is, he's just hearing it. That does not look like Michael Jackson. Well, it kind of does.
I'll
It's just-
watch the video tomorrow.
Okay, but like his face just looks. His face, it just doesn't look like Michael Jackson. It's scary.
Even with the shoes holding him up.
Oh.
The assistant was locked inside the box, and the magician reached for his saw to cut her in half. But suddenly, a man jumped up from his seat and ran toward the stage. He grabbed a nearby sword and stabbed the magician in the neck, thinking he was saving the woman's life. You see, they were in a small town where no one had seen the magic trick before. Luckily, the magician did survive, and later explained that the woman was never in danger. The assistant was... If you removed your eyeballs and then your skin, you would definitely still be the same person, just without eyeballs and skin. And if you continued removing parts of your body, like your muscles, nerves, and blood vessels, you'd still technically be you, just as a skeleton. But what if you took all of these parts and assembled them onto a new skeleton? Would you still be you? Or would the new skeleton with all of your parts be the new you? Who is who? If you remove the vat was filled with a strange greasy substance along with human.
It was saying, if you removed all your body parts and put it on someone else, would you still be you? And now it's turning about. The title is "Man Turns Wife into Sausages."
Human bones and a gold ring. Now, the owner told the police that his wife had run away, but when they searched the basement of his sausage factory, they discovered that he had boiled her body in caustic chemicals and dissolved nearly all of her remains. People believed that he had been planning to turn the rest of her into sausage. He was immediately taken to court, where he was sentenced to life in prison. The vat was... Imagine you were robbing a grocery store, but got distracted by a huge lollipop. You thought it was real until you gave it a lick and realized it was fake. Little did you know, your tongue print might have left behind a clue for police. You see, just like fingerprints, your tongue has distinct patterns and textures. And in theory, forensic scientists could actually use these tongue prints to find suspects in criminal investigations. Imagine they took a human skull from a burial ground and cut off the top before cleaning and polishing it. Next,
why are they doing this?
They would carve designs into the bone.
Saying, what would happen if you put a sandwich on a plane?
I know, bro.
Before attaching metal and precious stones. And this sacred bowl was filled with wine for use in religious ceremonies. It was offered to the angriest gods to symbolize blood, and others contained bread baked into the shape of eyes, ears, and tongues, all just to keep the gods happy.
sounds like
They
somebody's
took a
angry.
When Pinocchio lies, his nose grows. So what would happen if he said, "My nose is about to grow"? If it did not grow, then that would mean he was lying.
Okay, what's up guys? Sorry to interrupt the video, but you guys gotta go check out our merch. We have all these really cool items that you need to get. Link in the description. You guys really gotta go. But anyway, back to the video.
Which would cause his nose to grow. But his nose growing would then indicate that he was not lying, which means his nose should have never grown. What do you think would happen?
I don't know. Wait, actually, what would happen?
He took the master key and
Hold on, what? I don't know.
pressed it into melted candle
I know. The prison key is cake
wax,
escape.
making a perfect impression. The mold was smuggled out of the prison, and his allies used it to make a metal copy. They hid it inside a cake and sent it back to him. But when he tried the key, it didn't fit. So he sent another wax impression and waited for the cake. And this time, the key worked. He passed through every locked gate, simply walking out of the prison. And years later, he became president of Ireland. He took
What?
The closest thing to fresh air.
a fan threw what appeared to be a rubber bat onto the stage
Wait, so
at
they were
the
just
concert. And without hesitation,
What?
Hey, you went to prison. So the Ireland people are just like, hey, you went to prison? Ah, whatever. You can be our president.
I know, bro. What?
Ozzy Osbourne picked it up and bit into it, thinking it was a toy. But to his shock, the bat was real. The moment he bit down, he realized the mistake as the bat's blood filled his mouth. He was rushed to the hospital immediately after the show to receive rabies shots. A fan threw the terrifying creature devoured livestock and even preyed on women and children. The villagers hunted it down and killed it. And for some reason, they believed it was the mayor who had come back from the dead as a werewolf. They dressed the dead creature in a flesh-colored suit that looked like human skin and added a brown wig and a long white beard. To finish it off, they cut off its snout, replacing it with a mask that looked like the mayor. And just to be sure the creature was dead, they hanged it in a public trial. The terrifying—
What is this? Why? These are getting worse and worse.
They cut off its snout.
Why?
The giant mirror would catch sunlight and focus the rays into a powerful beam. This would be aimed at cities and would ignite buildings and boil bodies of water. Nazi scientists actually drew up plans to build this thing. The mirror would be constructed in sections, connected in orbit, and controlled by rockets mounted on the back. And this would allow them to aim the beam and destroy entire cities. But they lost the war just a few months later, meaning it was never attempted. The giant mirror would— Have you ever wondered why you're not allowed to smile in passport photos? Well, believe it or not, the reason actually kind of makes sense. You see, each passport has a microchip inside that stores your biometric information. Things like the distance from your nose to your chin, or how wide your mouth is. And if you smiled in your passport photo, these measurements would be skewed, making it harder to confirm your identity. Have you ever wondered why you're not— They set up a baby monitor to keep an eye on their daughter, because recently they had noticed open drawers and crooked window blinds, things that made them uneasy. The camera was a way to—
sorry, your baby is a 24-year-old man. He just turns into a baby when you are watching him, but when not, he's a full-grown man and he's just opening drawers and stuff, yeah.
Sure nothing odd was happening. Hours later, in the middle of the night, the monitor crackled awake, instantly jolting her from sleep. She glanced at the screen and saw her husband standing over the crib, cradling their baby. She felt relieved until she realized her husband was lying right next to her. Panic surged as she grabbed a baseball bat and bolted into the nursery. She turned on the light, and her husband spun around, startled, clutching their baby. If this was her husband, then who was in her bed? They set up a
Okay, what if her husband is in the bed and that's not her? What? Yeah, what?
While talking to her fiance, she mentioned that a truck was circling her. Then the truck stopped and a man got out, but he quickly got back inside and shined a flashlight around. She thought nothing of it, but a moment later, her fiance heard her scream. He drove as fast as he could to help her, but on the way, he heard someone call his name from the truck that passed by. He turned around to chase it, but damaged his car, bringing him to a stop. And despite years of searching, she was never seen again.
No.
While talking to her, the man gulped down the energy drink on his way to a fishing trip.
Right.
But soon he started to feel sick. He was rushed to the hospital, but the next day he stopped breathing. He was one of 12 people who died after buying drinks from vending machines. Each one had been poisoned with a deadly herbicide, leading to a painful death. In a panic, millions of stickers were used to warn people to check for tampering, but the poisoner was never caught. The man gulped down the girl took a Tylenol to help with a cold, but within hours, she was dead. Over the next few days, 6 more people in the area died the same way. The deaths triggered nationwide panic. Stores pulled Tylenol from shelves, and millions of bottles were recalled. Authorities launched a massive investigation and discovered the capsules had been laced with cyanide. The tragedy led to the invention of tamper-proof seals, but the poisoner was never caught. The girl took a Tylenol.
Why?
Okay, listen. If you're under 1,000
This is
subscribers...
So what if I go to...
These are humans who have...
This is
Okay, listen.
The girl
I
took
think
a
we've ended
Tylenol
it.
to help with a
I
cold.
think we watched like every Zack D films now. Guys, shout out to Zack D Films. His videos are interesting. We might not have gotten all of them, but we got the most that we can find.
Probably not very interesting.
Yeah, it's just weird. But anyway, I hope you guys are having a great day, and watch the next videos and buy our merch. Buy the merch. Link in the description.
Yes, yes, yes.
And we'll see you in the next video. Bye!